All right, so into the Fauci thing. So Project Veritas released a bunch of stuff talking about the Dr. Fauci's dealings, the NIH, and COVID stuff. So I'm going to go into these files real quick and cover a couple of things, and then I'm going to let Howard speak on it because he's been he's dug through this a lot more than I have. So I'm going to jump in. Let me see. Let me pull up the. So this is a doc from U.S. Marine Corps DARPA. So this is an email from him. And so I'm going to go this email and then the next one, and then I'll turn it over to Howard real quick. But so here we go. It says, thanks for corresponding. I'm reaching out to communicate some information relative to COVID that I don't believe whoever, it's redacted, or your director is aware of. You probably saw earlier this week that more official documents are linking the NIH and Eco Health Alliance to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, blah, blah, blah. So he's inquiring about the significance. That's the point. So then on to this next email. This is from the Commandant of the Marine Corps. So he's sending it to the Inspector General. And so listen to this first sentence. SARS-CoV-2 is an American-created recombinant bat vaccine, or its a precursor virus. It was created by an EcoHealth Alliance program at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, as suggested by the reporting surrounding the lab leak hypothesis. The details of this program have been concealed since the pandemic began. These details can be found in the EcoHealth Alliance proposal response to the DARPA preempt program, the broad agency announcement, and then with the number dated March 2018, a document not yet publicly disclosed.
Right, and so who you were just talking about, that is a Joseph Murray, who is a DARPA fellow with the U.S. Marine Corps.
Okay. Yeah, so this is straight from the Department of Defense. This is these are official documents. You can see the watermark from Project Veritas across there because they don't want people just sharing it without credit. But right. This is a huge deal.
Yes. So all right. So this is the Honorable Xavier Becerra, Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So I'm going to go through a couple, really just like the first 4 or 5 pages. We can go further, but this is what I've done the research on. So this is basically, they asked for a transcribed copy of the interview with Dr. Fauci and the director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, and I will further call it NIAID or NIAID because that's a long name. And so I want to make clear that everything that we're going to talk about from here out is not the exact emails or correspondence. This is all from somebody who either read it or saw it and then made a note, right, basically, and then presented this to Congress. We do not have the actual emails because they are not public. So, okay, let's see here. Where should we start?
Do you want me to scroll down to the emails?
Go down to... No, stay right there. All right, so despite Dr. Fauci claiming otherwise on multiple occasions, he was, in fact, aware of the monetary relationship between NIAID and the U.S. National Institutes of Health, EcoHealth Alliance, and WIV, which is the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Right, so basically, he knew about this connection. He knew that we were funding Wuhan, which is we'll find out later on, it's only actually a level 2 biology lab, which is right, yeah. Usually this kind of stuff would be done in a level 4. There are 4 levels to these labs. And
what do those levels represent, Howard? I mean, explain it.
Yeah, so basically there's 4 levels, and more or less what it means is that at the lower levels, you're dealing with pathogens or stuff that isn't super critical, and the controls you have in place aren't super protective, right? You get to a level 4 laboratory and you have full on, you're wearing suits, you're using labs that are working in what they call a like a negative how do they say it, in rooms that have a negative pressure.
It's a negative airflow, yeah.
It's a negative airflow, right? So like you have to go through multiple layers to get into that room. And basically what that does is if you were to open something that could get out into the broader room, it would be taken through a system that would be able to clear it, right? So there's kind of different levels to these labs, and generally speaking, this kind of stuff with viruses that are this
virulent,
transmissible,
yeah,
they're going to be that'll be done in a level 4 lab where all the controls are in place, so that even if you were to open something within the lab, it's controlled.
Right.
This did not happen, apparently, according to this. So this goes on to say that one, that he was aware of what was going on. Now, this conflicts with what he said in Congress. Now, to be clear, he said that there was no gain of function going on. Now, that's kind of a slippery word because there's actually other definitions of gain of function that are more specific, and that's kind of going beyond what I understand and beyond what I know. So when people say he lied, it's kind of semantics, right? Because he said there wasn't gain of function. Okay, great. I guess it all depends on what you call gain of function. But, moving on from there, let's go to page 2.
Page 2 of the emails. So, the first
Just
highlights?
the next page. No, that's down further.
Okay. Sorry. This one?
There's a lag. I don't know.
Okay. Is this the one with the signatures that you're after?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Oh.
How's this?
Oh, now I can see you. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just breeze. Yeah, stay right there. I will breeze through the stuff before that. If people want to go read it, we can give them the links. It doesn't matter. So on February 1st of 2020, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Collins, and at least 11 other scientists convened on a conference call to discuss COVID-19. At this conference call, they were warned that this may have come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, if you guys remember, going back, he has denied this, in public at least, the entire way through. Has said that there's absolutely nothing to that. But according to these papers, that's not true. He was warned of this in February. Like, we're talking, 2 years ago now at this point, or almost 2 years. And 3 days later, he was warned that the quote-unquote proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2, or COVID-19, and sent a draft to Drs. Fauci and Collins prior to the final publication in Nature Medicine, that this was all sent for editorial approval. And we kind of move on from there. Fauci denies all of this, but he uses very specific language. So, but he did mention in April of 2020, what's that?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh. That they wanted to put down the lab leak hypothesis, even though pretty much all of them assumed that it came from a lab. And this will go on a little bit further On to the next page. That's where the signatures are. We can skip that. And you come to Appendix 1. You can probably skip that one too.
Yeah, it's all redacted.
Yeah, it's all redacted, yeah. But now we get down to an email. Now, again, this is not directly from Mike Farazan's email, who is the discoverer of the SARS receptor. But in this email that was at least transcribed to us, he says that RBD, and RBD being the receptor binding domain, right? We're going to get into some pretty serious jargon here. And this will make a little more sense here in a minute. He says the RBD didn't look engineered to him, as in no human would have selected the individual mutations and cloned them into the RBD. And in quotations, I think we all agree. Point two, yeah. Point two. Well, he goes on, yeah. So he goes on to say that he is bothered by the furin site. Now, a furin site is...
Furin is just a protease, right?
Yeah, so it's explained as like a cleavage site, where basically there is a small extra sequence located at the site of a spike protein. So on the cell, there is another site.
Right.
Like this is going beyond what I understand, but
yeah. Essentially, what this is saying is just there is an aspect of a certain protein in the virus that doesn't look organic. It looks man-made. That's essentially what is being said right here.
Right, because he says he has a hard time explaining how or why this would happen outside of the lab.
Right, yeah. It just doesn't seem like something that ever happens in nature.
Well, and we can talk about it now, but further on, he says it isn't even clear that could happen in nature.
Yes. And this is something that we did know like months ago.
A long time
People
ago.
pointed this out.
Exactly. Yeah, this is really nothing new, but this is finally coming out in a more credible form. Like, we've known this, people have said this for a long time, but we now know that they knew this too.
Right. Yeah. This is the proof that we've been that we've kind of been waiting for, just because this is I'm not going to say it's definitive evidence that the U.S. created COVID and released it, but it is definitive evidence that they had a hand in creating it.
Right. So he goes on to say, so given the above, a likely explanation could be something as simple as a passage of SARS live, CoV-S, which is basically just COVID-19, in tissue culture on human cell lines under BSL-2, and BSL-2 is biosafety level 2.
Right. So essentially what's being said is that they created it in an animal host and then passed it to human tissue in a biosafety in the safety lab level of 2, which is extremely dangerous and illegal because of how infectious this disease is. Right. And they should have been doing it in a BSL-4, and it also shouldn't have been funded in the first place.
Well, we should not have been funding it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
If the Chinese were going to fund it, that's their own issue. Right. But we should not have been putting money towards this, especially when it's not clear that we got any benefit from it.
Right. Well, we got lockdowns.
Yeah.
Okay, let me catch up on the chats real quick before we move on with this, because this is a lot. I mean, you've already said so much right there. So, let's see. Jaeger says a lot of people were calling the Wuhan lab and were called conspiracy theorists. Yes, that is the case. Jordan says, "See you, Space Cowboy." Spike Spiegel. Vincenta says a bunch of words that are not in English, and then he hashtagged it No Chin Howard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Space Cowboy says, "What up, Jordan?" Jordan says, "Bell peppers and beef." Yes, bell peppers and beef, always. Lex is talking to Swizzy. She says Howard can be a legit reporter with that booming alpha voice.
Oh, gosh.
Vincenta says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vincentus. Ivermectin says, Trenbolone is gay of function. Mr. Scott says, there was a 2017 article, like the Boston Globe, I believe, claiming the Wuhan lab would be a level 4. Sea Milk and Serpensa read the article in one of their channels a while ago. Okay, well, that's good to know. So essentially the idea was it was meant to be a level 4, or they claimed it was going to be a level 4, but it never was.
Right.
So that is, yeah, that's relevant. Because this is very illegal to do in a BSL-2. Jordan says, all Fauci needs to do to cover his ass is to say, well, the science is always changing as we learn more. Awfully convenient. Yeah.
And that's what he does, yeah.
Yep. Jaeger says, I guess Bob Saget died.
He did.
Rip Bob Saget. Let's see here. Ivermectin says, we also have the pits to 10,000 hydrogen bombs in Amarillo, Texas. Yeah, I don't know how relevant that is, but yeah, that's true. Nathan Danner says, yeah, along with the whole stockpile of other chemical weapons. Yeah. Lex says, Criminal Order will drop a vid in a bit related to Fauci, just so you wait. They're not just about Cutgate after all. There you go. Criminal Order says, okay, I'm back. Sorry, my upload speeds are awful. Can't watch and upload at the same time. Well, I'm glad you're back. Vincenta says, anthrax is a biological weapon, much worse. Yeah? I'd say anthrax is worse than COVID, wouldn't you, Howard?
Well, I mean, it is worse, but it's also a lot harder to spread.
Yeah, that's true. But if you want to take anthrax, I'll get COVID. I'm okay with that.
Well, no. What I mean is, like, it doesn't spread as readily as this does. So, I mean, because we've had anthrax attacks here in the U.S.
Right, yeah, I know.
And it lives in the soil. Like, it's actually very hard to spread amongst the population.
Right.
Yes. Is it worse if you get it? Yes.
Oh, God, yeah, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Okay, Nathan says it's debatable what is worse. I understand that anthrax is biological. Yeah. Jordan says, when I see redaction, I see something they want to hide, QED. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Vincenta says, can you pop that redaction into Word and change the text color? I remember some classified stuff got leaked that way. I don't know. I haven't tried, but that's a good point.
That's a great idea.
I know. That would be nuts if we could be the ones to leak that, but I don't know. Criminal Order says Rim Stool is my next target for avoiding super chats. Yikes, Rim Stool. Jaeger is laughing at that. Hey Buddy says, like the grafting site of the spike protein, I believe. Brett Weinstein explained it. I'm a layman. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, buddy. Jaeger says, we know that they know, and now they know we know they know. Yeah, exactly. And now we know they know they know. Jaeger's just down that rabbit hole. He's stuck on repeat. Somebody smack him. Reboot Jaeger. Jordan says, a non-naturally occurring active site on the molecule intrinsic to the virus transmittal. Clearly engineered. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so hold on. But to go back to that, is it clearly engineered? We don't know. We just know that it's never necessarily happened naturally.
Right. So, it's something that you wouldn't see or expect through like microbiological evolution of
Correct.
Any kind of virus or anything like that. You wouldn't see it normally. Yeah, you're right. Vincenta says, when was this letter written? It was written today. Lex says, Criminal Order, Rim Tools stands hate us here, so thanks for your crusade. Yeah, they really do. Somebody commented on my video that I made yesterday, and it's like, you look like a wannabe Italian tough guy. All your stuff is shit. You need to stop. This isn't for you. I was like, damn, that was mean.
Oh no, that's good. It means you're getting some press. So
it cracks me up, dude. It still cracks me up. The first feedback I ever got on the Tim Pool subreddit was, "Who is this virgin?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's just funny. Vicenta says, "Did you know that swine flu and bird flu were also bioweapons?" I didn't. I want to see the receipts for that, Vincentas. That's the way. By the way, when you guys tell me things like that are not common knowledge, just so you know, my response is always going to be, I want to see the receipts, because it's very interesting, because you guys know a lot of things that I don't. But at the same time, I have to be careful, because someone could just troll me and say something like that just to try to get me to say it on stream. So I have to be careful.
What he might be saying is, they did come out of China. Like, we are aware of that. Yeah. That does not necessarily mean that they were engineered. Am I saying they're not? No, of course not. But we don't know.
It's the preponderance of evidence thing. Yeah. Hey buddy says, me and my brother have always believed the appointment of specifically Fauci was suspect, and in order to run an intel op to buy time, because if the U.S. admitted responsibility, it would be catastrophic. I mean, it's a good theory, because if everybody at the start of the pandemic had been like, by the way, the U.S. is responsible, like that, oh my God, can you imagine what would have happened?
Yeah, but I mean, he's been in this position, or positions very close to it, since like the 70s.
Yeah. This guy is like the longest tenured bureaucrat of all time, essentially.
Correct.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Buddy says, I'm really impressed with Howard. Great to have him here. Good. Yeah. Good job, Howard.
Oh, thanks.
Hominoid says, we have a big new gym here. Would you like a video of it to compare to yours? Sure. Hominoid, that would be your 667th video, though. If you make another video, you'll ruin your 666. He has 666 videos on his channel.
I don't know, but 669 would be okay too. Let's be honest.
Or just go on a spree and get 6969, and then you're in good shape.
Even better.
Yeah, there you go. Criminal Order says, wait till you see the merch to go with it. Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see your temple merch. I mean your rim stool merch. Vincenta says, at Howard, try that word thing I mentioned. No, we'll get to it. Hominoid says, I believe due to my past employment with government in Australia, we knew USA, China, Britain, and Russia were doing virus research since World War II. Yeah, they have been, that's for sure. Nicole says, I want that
and that's
merch.
Not even hidden, so.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not at all. Nicole wants Criminal Order merch. Yeah, that's legit.
Don't we all?
Hominoid says, my birthday is 22 January. Who's coming to party? All right, everybody, we're going to Australia. We're going to go to Hominoid's birthday party. Jordan says, your beanie kung fu is better. There we go. Beanie kung fu. I like it. Vincentus says, swine flu... Hey, Jonas Vonderplanets. I don't know what that means. Sorry, Vincentus.
Yeah.
It's not my language. Swizzy says, lefty watching Jack's vids. Ree! Oh, Jaeger says, Fauci is a snake in the grass. But we all knew that, right?
Yeah.
Lex says, will Howard's vid ever be on, or will it destroy the stream? I can try it. It's not just going to destroy the stream. It's just going to be really freezy. Howard, you can turn your video on if you want to. We'll see if it actually will work again. But the stream's smooth.
I can, but there's really nothing to see. It's just me, and that's not that
I think she just wants to see you. I think that's all it is. Yeah. Criminal Order says, I'll DM it to you if you don't leak it. Yeah, I won't leak it. Space Cowboy says, snakes have more of a spine than Fauci. There you go. Huh. And then there's a Russian bot, and we're all caught up. So anyway, nice little break there. So moving on, let's see. So we were sitting here looking at, so essentially this person had been like, look, there's an issue with the Furin site on these things. So, right. And from there, what's next? So,
I could go through and read this, but I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of sum it up.
Yeah, do that.
Basically, what this Bob Gary guy says is that it's very unlikely that 4 amino acids and 12 nucleotides would be added at the same, like that all of this would happen at the same time to gain this function. And that, so he goes on to S2, which is a protein that binds with amino acids. Like this gets really deep. But basically what he's saying is, it's not impossible, but it's very unlikely that these kinds of things would happen and that we would see this particular virus in this particular form happen. You know, because he goes on to talk about RAT-G13, which is basically just another swine flu. That's swine flu. They don't call it that here, but that's what
Right.
it is. And that was, again, he says that. So this kind of goes back to one of the comments earlier that swine flu was genetically altered and made. Well, this guy makes that point. Bob Gary makes the point that, yeah, it's not likely that swine flu was natural either.
Right. Yeah. So it's another confirmation of what we know.
Yeah. And again, a lot of this. So what we're reading here, again, is not necessarily word for word. This was people who were taking notes from an audio that they heard.
Right. Yeah.
That's where we're getting this from, because none of this stuff is available to the public.
Right.
But kind of like from here on out, we're on page 4, but you can go to page 10. It's kind of all the same thing. Basically, people saying it isn't likely. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No, because we've never seen it before.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, we can go through all 16 pages, but it's all just kind of the same thing. They go on in different terms. They say different things, but they're all come to the same conclusion. So
yeah. Okay. So on that note, Howard, let me go back here. So this right here that I've shown you. So this was the admission, the full-on admission of yes, the U.S. Using, through the medium of EcoHealth Alliance, the
yes.
Wuhan Institute of Virology, they did create the bat coronavirus. That's here in so many words on this.